Back to one of our top stories. The Vaal River Clean-up Project was set to be complete by June, but yesterday, Save the Vaal told us that the situation has in fact got worse. I'm joined by Leonardo Manus, the Water and Sanitation Acting Deputy Director General, for more clarity on this situation. Very good morning to you. What on earth is going wrong there? Why is it still dirty?
Well, good morning. Very good morning to you as well. Yes, it is a situation that is quite unbearable and quite unacceptable, and that is the reason why the key word there is intervention, why the Department of Water and Sanitation as a national government department has moved into a space which is actually the responsibility of the local municipality, which obviously couldn't really do what it was supposed to do, and hence the department moved in to start working there. So up until today, we have done a lot to actually ensure that the situation is improving. We are far from where we're supposed to be and where we want to be, and therefore the department is still committed to continue to ensure that all the infrastructure that has been for this matter in a dilapidated state would be repaired or rectified into a situation where everything will be more acceptable.
I mean, we were promised that this would be fixed in June. As we found out, it's got worse. 170 million rand was sent to Airwat to clean it up. Has 170 million rand gone to the clean-up process? I mean, how much of that money is actually tackling the dire situation at the Vaal?
A lot of focus has gone initially into the collection system. As you would know, that in terms of if the wastewater or the collected sewage is not getting to a wastewater treatment work in its first place, then it's quite a dangerous situation in terms of the livelihoods of those who actually live in the surrounding areas. For that matter, the department has removed, with the assistance of Airwat, to the total of about 50 tons of rubble that was accumulated into the system, and have caused a lot of sewer spillages along the way, on its way to the wastewater treatment works. In terms of this as well, that have caused that the inflow into the wastewater treatment works have been tripled, for that matter, which means that at least now the surrounding areas around the collection systems, especially in the area of Sebokeng and therefore, is in a much better condition. And so there has been value added in terms of the intervention that has happened up until today.
Okay, so why has the sewage worsened then? I mean, what's the problem there? I mean, Save the Vaal claims that there's a secret agenda, that there are, all they hear about is these ongoing court cases that never lead anywhere. Why, for people who live on the river and who need the river to survive, why is the situation worsening for them?
The situation we need to look at it more holistically than that, and it cannot only be that it is that this whole thing is made down to be some sort of hidden agenda, because the department's agenda is very clear. It needs to operate and actually try and intervene in a space that might not be its primary responsibility, but towards improvement.
Okay, sorry, can I just jump in there? I mean, we heard that the Water and Sanitation Department spent, 13 million on a rapid response task team. The majority of people, it's now been disbanded, the majority of people in that team had nothing to do, no knowledge of water at all. So you can understand why people are feeling a little aggrieved. Promises have been made that have been broken, and what people really want to see is tangible evidence that something is being done.
And the tangible evidence is there. And the thing is that when I come back to your point that you've made in terms of that it's been promised to actually be all rectified and fixed and everything should have been done by June, it is quite a difficult thing to understand if we know the magnitude of the problem that is there. The department is in the process now, at least at this point in time, to have secured 850 million to actually put into that space again and actually take the money away from other projects, so that we can move into this space for this intervention. So as I told you, the first direct impact would be people don't live in the river perhaps first. So that would be the secondary part, also to ensure that we actually get all the pump stations right. We can fix the entire wastewater treatment works. At this point in time, the new Sebokeng Extension 6 is actually quite far to the point of actually being commissioned. So the evidence is there that the work is being done. Perhaps if we had more money and we didn't have to go through all of the processes that we want to go through to ensure that everything is above board as far as the PFMA is concerned, then perhaps we would have been in that space. But the department is going through the process, the budget is secured, and we are committed to ensure that the situation is being...
Okay, let's talk about two things, considering the scandals that we heard surrounding PPE. So you say 850 million has been assigned to cleaning up the river. What sort of transparency is there? I mean, can we all access where this money is going in order to make sure that it goes to the right people? And what sort of realistic timeline are we talking about here?
It's a 3-year timeline that we're talking about, but just to answer that very pertinent question of yours, there's nothing to hide. It will be transparent. We're going through a process in terms of, as I told you, that is set out as per the Public Finance Management Act in terms of the procurement process, and that might be the reason as to also why it is just not a flash-in-the-pan type of procurement process. So that is quite clear, and as you will also understand that the majority of this budget would not go to people, but in terms of material that is also required in terms of rectifying infrastructure project, infrastructure that has gone wrong. So,
Leonardo, sorry, we have run out of time, but if I can just ask you a very quick question. What is your message to people who've been badly affected by this, those who've had sewage spewing through their floors and their walls? What's your message?
The message is that the department is committed to intervene into a space of local government to ensure that the situation as far as the Vaal River is improved, because it is beyond what we want to do, and we're not only going to focus in the Vaal direct Beng area, but also in the larger integrated Vaal system, which is upstream into Mpumalanga area as well. That is all on the plan to also assist in that area, because seemingly we have significant failure as far as our wastewater treatment works are concerned.
Okay, good to talk to you, Leonardo Manus, and best of luck.